Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Esther
and my name is Jimmy, I know, the husband.
Thank you guys for all your support and encouragement on our previous videos. The love has been so overwhelming. Thank you. Please keep them coming. Thank you very much. So today I dragged my husband here because I want to talk about something that is very important and sensitive as regards to a lupus diagnosis. So today we're going to be talking about lupus and marriage. We're going to be sharing how my lupus diagnosis affected our marriage. We're going to hear from my husband's point of view, my point of view, and we're also going to share how we kind of, worked as a team to collaborate to have a healthy relationship in marriage. Right, babe?
Absolutely.
Good. So I'm going to be doing the question asking. He's going to be doing the answers. And
all right,
he might also want to ask me questions.
Yeah,
So
it has to be two ways. So
exactly.
To maintain a balance.
Okay, great. So let's just go with the flow. So babe, tell me, from a man's point of view,
Yes.
how did my diagnosis affect you?
Thank you for the question. That's a very practical question, and I think it deserves the most practical answer that anyone can give. So to get into it very straight, it was more than a shock. And I would say that because, like they would say, every marriage is unique in itself. No two marriages are the same, right? So the very first feeling I had was fear. Here I am in a new country trying to figure out my way, trying to settle my life with my wife, and this thing popped up because I think it happened like we got the diagnosis while we were preparing for our wedding.
Yeah, while we're preparing for the wedding, yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I think the shock itself dates back to before the wedding
Before
date.
the wedding, yeah.
Because
it was in 2012.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
So you start asking yourself some very thought-provoking questions like, am I ready for this? And most of the time when you hear people pray things like, may you be tested, may we not be tested to the point, may our loyalty not be tested. It's a very profound prayer. Because, there are instances of life that things happen and you question your loyalty, your feeling of love, your commitment to certain things or people, and you really shake into your foundation. So for me as a person, that was one of those periods in my life. So I'll be honest here, I didn't really share with my wife because, the initial, macho posturing, you don't want to be seen to be, second guessing yourself and all of that. But, there comes a time you sit by yourself and you sort of self-reflect.
Yeah.
You self-reflect that what are the odds? What do we stand to face as we go along? Because don't forget, it was like we're groping in the dark. This is a new diagnosis. We're
New
learning about it.
territory. We just got married. Everything was new.
Sure. So, but one thing that really helped me a little was the admission of the reality. I had to admit that this is the reality. And Jimmy, you have a choice to either stop this at this point, or if you are going to go through, you have to go all the way through. Because like I said, we're preparing for the wedding. So a lot of thoughts will come through your mind, and I'm not gonna be sentimental or try to be diplomatic. We're all humans, right? So things happen that, and I believe at some point you'll see here more down the podcast of very profound experiences that we had that really shook our marriage. But so I had to evaluate my, the situation. Should I just cut it short at this point? Move on my life as a single man, and what will be. Or,
hey, break my heart. He wanted to break my heart. Oh my God.
Or should I be honest with this lady? Sit her down. I love you. I think we can walk through this together. I don't know how it's gonna be.
And that's what he did, guys.
Sorry
to cut you short, but listen, this man, I don't know what pocket of heaven God brought him from, but
I feel flattered.
is the only reason why I was able to conquer lupus. Forget that he's my husband right now. He is good people. So I'm just saying this on here for the record. Good people, good people. He took the latter, so he didn't break my heart, thank God, right? If not, I for do. Hey, Jesus.
So I mean, just to quickly round off. So when I decided to like go along with the flow, I knew that there were going to be challenges. It wasn't going to be a walk in the park. And one of the things we did together as a couple was to have a conversation. And when I mean a conversation, it was like a frank conversation.
Yeah.
This is not I love you, you love me. This is a situation right now.
We're going to be dealing with.
And I made her understand that. And for the first time in my life, I understood the fact that love itself is actually more of a decision.
Yeah.
Feeling is just an element of love.
Yeah.
It's not the totality of it. But
Tell them, babe.
particularly marital, setting, a love is something you decide, I will love this person. Regardless. That is not to say that there are no red flags, there are no deal breakers. We will come to those at some point. But I decided that if we're going to do this, we have to stick together. There will be days that there will be issues. There will be days that you feel like giving up. Where you are probably in the lab doing your own experiment and you get a call that your wife is in the hospital. You have to drop it and just take the next ride to the hospital.
Yeah.
And at times you end up sleeping in the hospital overnight.
And he did that many times. I'm
not a Superman. I don't want credit for it. I'm doing what I should do as a couple. But we're just trying to be real that, life did happen.
Yeah, lupus can take a toll
on
your marriage.
Yeah.
If you're married and dealing with lupus, it can really take a toll. I think one of the things that we also did as a couple was to, like he said, face the reality and determine to work together, right? He was very supportive from the day one of the diagnosis. Okay, this is what we're going to be dealing with. We're just going to heads on. There were days where I gave up. I'm like, you know what, babe, you just go with your life. Let me deal.
I think we have enough of those to
exactly
talk about.
right. Let me just deal with this my unstable life, and I don't want to slow you down, but he was made for me, and because of him I'm here today. I'm thriving and I'm progressing. We went ahead to have children. We have a very solid marriage relationship. So I thank God for that, and I want to say thank you for allowing God to use you to be a support system to me.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So second question I've always wanted to ask him was how did you manage maybe taking care of me, school, because I remember you were doing your PhD in the really intense period of my lupus. How did you manage taking care of me with school? Like, how was those days? Because those are questions I still want to know. Like, how was those days for you? Because there were days where I would be at home in pain. It's winter, right? It's cold. It's freezing everywhere. I have like joint pains, headaches. The lupus flare would just kick in, and I would just take, a ride to the hospital and call him like, yo, I'm in emergency.
And my wife's talking about a ride. Maybe we should just clarify. At the time, we had no car.
Yes, we had no car. So you will have to take like public transport.
Taking
TTC.
Public transit when it is minus 30 degrees in winter.
Yeah.
So that was our reality at the time. So to quickly answer the question, I think for me, it was also a period of self-discovery. And self-discovery with regards to the capacity of the human mind. We have some abilities, we have some, they call it tolerance, that we don't even know we do until we are pushed to certain limits, Because I think for me, what made it easier for us was the admission that this is our reality. There's no denying the reality. The how then followed. I know those days will come. And what I just did was that, while I'm not so religious, I just prayed to God that, God, this is where we are right now. I don't want to break down.
Because
either physically,
two of us cannot afford to break down.
Yes. Just give me the strength, to weather this storm, to be able to be there for my wife. And the other thing that I did was not to sort of joke with my own well-being,
Exactly.
so that I can be,
Strong
top notch,
enough.
Yeah. But as you can imagine, I mean, even if you're in physical health, sound physical health,
It can happen.
it will take a toll on you.
Yeah.
You're not a Superman. You're just human like any other person. But it tested my limit, and it helped me it sort of expanded my capacity. And when I mean capacity, I mean even in terms of emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
In terms of understanding what is important. In terms of self-awareness.
Prioritizing.
Whom
as
do you
well.
speak to?
Yeah.
What do you say? Because even now, during this period, our families never knew what was going on. Because
Yes.
we knew it was going to be a lot of, anxious moments for them.
Exactly. We didn't want to cause panic or unnecessary, panic and all that. And I really didn't want to add to the stress that we were dealing with. So one of my toxic traits, I'm going to admit, is that I don't usually ask for help. I kind of like to figure things out on my own. And thank God for the kind of husband that I got blessed with. He is also the most private person I've ever come across. In fact, I am not even private. But you see this man, he's like a safe in a dark wall, in a dark box. So I don't know. He is so private. He will figure it out before he asks for help. So we didn't really have to communicate back and forth to our families back home. Oh, Esther is in the hospital. Esther is sick. Esther, no. We didn't have to do that because our parents, our mothers were aged, so there's no need adding more panic to that. And we were in a place where we can handle this on our own, which we did. So what we are trying to drive at tonight is that lupus can really take a toll on your marriage if you and your partner are not in alignment, right? If you and your partner are not on the same page, you have to be realistic with your realities. Like, okay, it is A is B, it is A for A, B for B, C for C. Like, this is what it is. Yeah. And then draw up a strategy on how you are going to deal with it. When you are having your flares, when you are depressed, when you are, angry, because I had those episodes where I was very upset with myself. Exactly. Please.
Yeah, and I'd like to also chip in something. My wife was making mention about some emotional episodes, right?
Yeah.
So part of the diagnosis when she was prescribed some medications was that we had a meeting with the doctor, the rheumatology, and the rest of the team, and they were very, very frontal with us that these medications have side effects.
Yeah.
So one of those side effects was the mood swing.
Yeah.
The other one was the decline in libido.
Yeah.
You're adult here, so we can talk about that.
We'll come to that.
So just sort of.
Yeah. So that takes me to being realistic in your marriage about your diagnosis, because those things will affect your marital relationship. So, we had gone through a phase of admitting that I was sick and dealing with a disease that would take a toll on my health for a long time. And with that came medications that was supposed to help me, which they did. But the side effects was also something that would affect our marriage and our relationship. So low libido, depression, anxiety, lack of interest, mood swings. Like, there were days where I didn't even want to see him. Don't touch me, don't talk to me, don't smell me, stay 10 paws away from me and just leave me alone. Right? There were days like that, right, where I was just in my bubble. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was just crying myself to sleep. Those were very dark days.
And,
yeah, babe.
And for me, the flip side is what I mentioned about self-awareness and emotional intelligence, because without sounding very, very parochial, so to speak, as a typical African or Nigerian man, at times we get into our ego and we think the situation is about us. So like a few times she would sort of, be in her element, she doesn't want something. You start sort of interrogating the situation. What have I done to this lady? And all of that. Up to the point that you may get a little bit sort of
angry,
upset,
what's going on?
Yeah. So, and that's the point where you have to sort of call yourself back that it's not about me. You know, I mean, let's turn the table. If I were in our shoes, maybe I would feel the same way. Okay, why don't you just cut her some slack? All right, she's a woman. She can have those drama around it. But again, she's on medication.
And I did have those dramas, girl. You know? I did have those dramas, sorry.
So there was that need to be self-aware and to sort of intentionally diminish your own presence, that it's not about me. Let me just play my own role to it. Because the objective was just to help my wife get better.
Yeah.
You know, every other thing that surrounded it was just like, you know, an afterthought.
Yeah.
So it was a learning process. It was very, very intensive because I also had to work on myself and not make it about myself. So it was a two-way journey. Okay. And we're still on the journey, but we thank God that we've come thus far and things are looking up.
Exactly. And our marriage is stronger than ever. We have a very deep level of understanding of our marriage, of ourselves and our relationship. So babe, let me ask you, so what advice would you give couples who might, you know, be going through what we went through? So maybe it's the wife who has lupus, because lupus can also happen to men. Correct. Right? So or if it's the husband that is dealing with the diagnosis, what advice would you give from someone who has experienced it?
What I would say is that you have to first be clear what brought you guys together. Why am I with this man or this woman? And I think for me, I think deeply a lot, you know, because I understand, like my wife said, it could have been anybody. I could have been the one in her shoes. So you have to be clear what brought us together, what brought me to this man. Okay, maybe at the point you guys were getting married, or your wedding day, nobody had any medical issues, but life happens, you know?
Yeah, life happens.
Okay, now this is where we are right now. Am I willing to walk this journey with this person? What is my motivation? And all of that. So once that is clear, it helps you to understand that, okay, I believe we can do this together as a team. And like you say, what God has joined together,
no lupus can put us under.
Absolutely. So when you have that clarity, it makes the journey a little easier, and every other thing can follow afterwards. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Honestly, just to wrap up, for time purpose, you know, lupus and marriage it's a very deep topic that we will be revisiting as we go on. But we just want to encourage couples out there dealing with this, that you can overcome it. Okay, your marriage can be solid, your relationship can be, you know, healthy if you guys work as a team. For us, we made the decision to work as a team. We shared a very unconditional love for each other, and with Christ being our foundation, we kind of understood that, you know what, if we work together, we can, you know, overcome. And thank God, our testimony is still unfolding. I'm doing well because of the amount of love and support I got from my husband. You know, like I said, we went ahead. We have 2 beautiful children. That's another story that we're going to share. And he will also be sharing his part because we had, you know, breakthroughs on that. But I want to encourage you out there, if you're, you know, you have a partner and you're dealing with this, I want you guys to work together, hold each other, take it one day at a time. You know, there is no rush to your healing, but there is a process and it will happen. As far as your supportive husband, your supportive wife, take each day at a time. There's no rush. You know, when you are down, allow your emotions to take you where it wants to take you. Go through it. Do not separate. Go through it and be over with it. You know what I mean? So Lupus tried our marriage, but it did not succeed because of the good man that he is, and because I had God on my side, really, because it was only God. Those were really dark days that I don't want to get emotional reliving it, but it wasn't pretty. You know, there were days where I didn't come out of my room and I didn't want him to come into the room because I didn't want him to see me like that. But he still did. Brought me food, cleaned me up, changed my clothes, and put me back to bed and told me it was okay. While he's at work, he will call, babe, are you okay? Do you want me to come home? I will say, no, don't worry, I'm fine. And I will go back to bed and cry myself to sleep. Those were very dark days. But one thing stood out for me. The Holy Spirit was always there. He was always there telling me that he was in control, right? The way this lupus thing works is 1 minute you are weak from having a flare, you are weak, and the next minute you have a burst of energy. Sure. Of course, because of the prednisone, right? Yeah. There's a burst of energy. My husband will come back from work and I've cleaned the whole house down. I have cooked like stew, soup, rice. I have, like, the house is sparkling. He's like, where did you get the strength to do this? Those days, I am reminded that the grace of God was upon my life. That's why I could do that, because there are people who have gone through such Ruth that never survived it or did not have the level of grace that I experienced. So the Holy Spirit was always there. We overcame, and I'm just so blessed to be married to a very kind man who was able to help me get better, right? Yep. So babe, any last words? I
want to say that you get to hear more from us as we roll by, and we encourage you to stick around and subscribe to my wife's channel, and try to like and share our page, because like I say, when you go through certain situations, I think of it like a playbook.
Yeah,
you're actually writing a playbook that will be referenced by other people in the future, because experiences are unique, but at times it's common at some point. So you're living your experience to help other people overcome it, you know, in times to come. So just leave the best out of it, and don't stop living.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. We will be reading comments. We will be replying comments. Please connect with us, ask questions, and maybe that will also trigger us to make more videos. Whatever you would like to know, put it in the comment section. I will be glad to answer. Okay. Until then, we'll come again in the next video. See ya. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.